Warning: this video contains blood, gore, violence, sexual and alcohol references, together with foul language, spoilers and fast edits. Well, the last two is something new. Pain! I'll let you be my roommate, and I'll tolerate your little nocturnal pets and the fact that you nearly cover our entire apartment in dirt.
It is originally from my homeland.
Whatever! And you're still pissed about the whole segment and the fact that I nearly owned you in the game.
You cheated!
Just stay out of my stuff, okay?
Like this bottle of meat?
No, don't drink it, don't drink it! Okay, Pain, pack your stuff and get out.
You dare to disrespect the mighty Pain!
So, here's gone. Let's begin. When we have supernatural beings into the mix, let's keep talking about one species that have been decreased in popularity due to reasons that must not be named. The vampire's law is as far-reaching as the dragons are, but unlike dragons, all of the dragon mythos does not share the same figure. So I am going with the most recognized version, which is the Western and Central European/Christian type, dated to around the 16th century. These vampires have been known as both cursed, undead, and savage beasts preying on others. These creatures is either seen as the completely darker side of the human mind, or as a tormented soul being torn between instinct and morale, almost in a Freudian fashion. So, I'll be comparing abilities, sources of vampirism, background, references, and personality. Now, let's go!
Redeemer and Destroyer, Pawn and Messiah. Welcome, time-span soul. Welcome to your destiny.
Now here is a sleeper of a game. The Sacred franchise all happens in the magical land of Ankara, where every race is to be found, maybe dwarves, seraphims, demons, and of course, vampiresses. This is actually a playable class in the game, which is rare in comparison to most of the other vampires on this list, and also a rare vampiric trait for these vampires, as they are one of the very few video game vampires that actually transforms into vampires and doesn't remain in that state permanently. They command bats, attack in states of furious blood rages, attack mentally, and even drains the very life from their victims by their very kisses. However, these vampires don't really have any backstory or personality, which the last one is one of the most important of vampirism, since they symbolically have been seen as the human struggle between humanity and bestiality. Oh well, lunchtime! Weird. Well, this is from the game named Magica, where the mysterious mentor Vlad lives. Sorry, but what are you doing here?
Sorry, but I am not a vampire.
But how about the villager that you clearly...
Was having a little discussion with.
Or your boss fight that you clearly referenced from Castlevania Ocarina of Time and Phantom of the Opera, where you confesses your vampire...
I never said anything of that sort.
Also, your obscene magical and supernatural powers that is constantly references to some kind of Dracula's...
That shows nothing.
But even your appearance doesn't really suggest that...
That proves nothing!
Oh, okay. Moving on. And here's a game that I've been talking a lot about. Heroes of Might and Magic 5. And here you should be knowing that since the vampires are mostly undead, they belong to the Necromancer faction. And it would be easy to include the vampire units that have been appearing in the franchise ever since at least the first installment, and are resurrected necromancers who chose to go the path of the vampire. But that doesn't make any sense to choose to become a lesser being and therefore a unit. So here I'm talking about the former king of the Griffin Empire, King Nikolai. He died after a demon attack led by Agriel, and later on by the power of the vampire government and the power of the spider goddess reawakens as a vampire. And this is the vampire that I want to talk about. Nikolai, the Vampire King, is a kinda underrated vampire since he is pretty badass and actually has an awesome reference, and only appears in a cutscene and a mission. Nikolai explains the pain of a damned soul right after his resurrection, and is first to feed on the ones that is closest to him. Don't worry, I'll get back to that later. But one of the remarkable features of Nikolai is that he gets stronger and keeps resurrecting himself in the final Sylvanian mission, as long as it is dark. Together with the ability to control nocturnal creatures and master of the magic, it connects better to the vampire lore, since the best vampire have those traits, and the best vampire is strongest during the night and only can rest on its own soil. Well, anyway, the reference that I would return to earlier is actually one of the oldest sources of vampire literature, which is a short poem by Lord Byron, which is actually about a dead man being damned by the gods to return to life and haunt and feed on the ones closest to him, as his curse was. The same can be said about Nikolai, since he was damned by the goddess Asha to walk the earth and feed on the people closest to him, be it the allied nation Ireland and his bride Isabel.
Wait, there are things that you should know. Things that are crucial for the fate of yourself and your fans and your sanity alike.
What is it?
I am a vampire. What?
I have only one thing to say to that.
And that is...
Captain Obvious strikes again! Not the right one. Wrong one again. Closer but not right. They all have one certain thing in common with number 2. Their name. Enter the former nobleman Cain. Cain was once a nobleman in the lands of Nosgoth until he was killed and turned into a vampire by the necromancer Mortanius. After he, as the last guardian of balance, turned against his fate, he became a powerful warrior and later ruler of vampire kind. His abilities are far beyond superhuman, with fury, telepathy, telekinesis, and the ability to turn into mist. All of which are classic known vampire traits, and of course he drinks blood. Like an evil mosquito of death. Besides his claws, he is armed with a lethal sword known as the Weaver, which sucks the very soul from whoever falls for its blade. In the entire franchise, Cain tries to find a way to save Nosgoth without falling to his fate, which is an interesting twist on the known Genesis story of Cain and Abel. There, God cursed Cain as that he could not die a premature death. Cain's curse gives the fate of either him doomed to die or Nosgoth doomed to decay. The vampire Cain really tries to escape the doomed fate, which unfortunately makes the story just as confusing and convoluted than Kingdom Hearts. And here comes the unnatural king of vampires. Here we have Dracula himself from the Castlevania franchise. This guy is basically the very definition of vampirism, but why do this interpretation of him? Well, first off, he is the most well known. Second, he is the king of vampires. Third, he is the closest interpretation of the classic version of Count Dracula written by Bram Stoker, although still loosely told. The former nobleman, strategist and alchemist Matthias Cronquist, just like the original fictional character, turned to an afterlife of vampirism after the death of his beloved. This is a step up in comparison to the original novel, where there really isn't given any backstory to Dracula's vampirism. But here are still a lot of qualities from the original Dracula that is kept in Matthias Cronquist's version, like the fact that he can transform into nocturnal creatures and command those creatures. He can climb on vertical walls and turn to mist, and as a former nobleman and alchemist, he can also disguise himself and use forbidden arts against others like mind control. And in a lot of games, Dracula either appears in his castle or on home grounds, which also can be looked back at the original fictional Dracula, as he could only rest upon home soil. But there's no point in comparing the Castlevania Dracula with the real Dracula the Impaler, because there's only 3 points of comparison to both of them. They're both lords, alchemists, and East European. And I know the deal, Pain. You are still watching.
You know not of the plans that have sprung from my mind.
And what are your plans exactly?
How foolish do you fancy me to reveal my true agenda?
So, no evil monologue, but still a weird speech pattern and a dark look. Obviously a villain.
But as you have revealed my true nature, I can show you my true self.
Oh, holy shit!
Now that the true darkness have shone upon the minds, I can cast away the evil host that was the demon Pain, and rule the world so that even God would!
You just made an evil monologue!
Mock me for the last time, you insolent worm!
And check! You just need an evil laugh and a no scream of defeat, and you'll fill the list.
I have tolerated your arrogance far too much. Now die!
Oh well, at least I came prepared for a vampire fight.
And that is only because I made you research vampire lore.
So you forced me via telepathy to make this countdown?
No, I just told you while you were asleep. I wouldn't waste psychic powers on you.
Okay, that's it, Pain! Now you're asking for the real pain! What?
Haven't you listened? I am not Pain. I am Dracula! By the powers of darkness, I command thee to slay this worm.
Well, I guess I need to pull out my special item.
Impressive. Where did you get that soul?
I got it in a treasure chest from the last video.
Actually, you just found it in a cereal box.
Just like I found you in a cereal box.
Well, you do find most of your stuff in a cereal box, you hobo.
Shut up, Loctus!
Well, no matter. Those words shall be the last you ever utter. Now, prepare to die! Why can't I move?
Well, I told you you shouldn't be drinking my meat, because after you did it the last time, I actually found out a pretty good way to make you stop it. Because since you did it the last time, I have produced genetically enhanced bacteria that both produce omega and gamma toxins that blocks for the presynapses neural cells, the calcium channels, and the natrium channels in the postsynapses neural cells, which block any signals in being sent any further to the muscular tissue, resulting in complete paralysis of the muscles.
What?
I basically mixed some neurotoxins in the meat this time. And now, to finish you off!
You haven't won yet. I am unbeatable.
Not by what I know from all the research that you made me do. I just need one more thing to do.
What are you doing?
Now, let's end this charade!
Wow, that was even more corny than me.
So, now that you haven't much time left, tell me one thing. Why did you want me to research all that vampire lore?
Oh, you will see. Your fate have already been sealed.
Damn it! Now I need to find a new roommate!